My name is Jim Carroll, and I'm a storyteller.
What do you want? And here he looked around. Didn't look around, but he...
My name's Jim Carroll, and I'm originally from D.C., Washington, D.C. I was in the Air Force for 21 years, and then after getting out of the Air Force, we moved to Omaha to be with my wife's, or near my wife's folks, and we've stayed here since. I went to work for First Data for about 9.5, 10 years. And then First Data had numerous layoffs over that period of time. And after about 9.5 years, I got hit with one of those layoffs. And I was a technical writer for First Data. My wife and I have been pretty involved in various churches wherever we went, and I was particularly involved in a lot of the children's programs. We had 3 children of our own, and I was kind of drawn to the children's programs, and a couple times I was asked to participate, and I did a couple stories, or I would be asked to do a devotion one time, and I would do it in a storytelling way. And because I like stories, I like to read, I like a lot of films. I also have somewhat of a passion for the dramatic, for acting, and so storytelling is to some degree, and also can be at times another form of acting. And when the layoff came, I was out filling out applications, passing out my resume, and every application has, you put down your life's history practically in a job application, and I got tired of it. After a while, I told my wife, I remember telling my wife that, I feel like a guy who's standing on a street corner with my hat in my hands. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it. So I began to wonder, since I was telling stories and since it seemed to, I seemed to have a knack at it, I thought, well, I wondered if there was a market out there for it. No. I was already getting my severance pay. I was getting a check every month. I could afford to do it. So I tested the waters to see if there was a market for it, and there was. I offered, since I was getting severance pay, I called a couple daycares and said, hey, I'll come out and tell a story for you, or a couple stories for you for free. Free. Mm-hmm. Won't cost you anything. Let me come out there for a half hour or whatever. I'll do a half hour's worth of storytelling. You tell me what you want to do, if you want to make it a regular part of your program. They couldn't turn it down. That's for free. Half hour of them not having to deal with the kids. So first one said, sure. When I got done telling stories, her manager came over to me and said, you should have quit First Data 5 years ago. They hired me, said, we want you to come do this for an hour every month. And they've been with me ever since. Well, to a large degree, everybody is a storyteller already. Everybody tells stories. When you're done with work, you go home and you say, hey, this is what happened to me at work today. This is what happened. And you tell a story. Whenever you talk about how you met somebody or how you got married, the first date you had, when you tell somebody about the plot of a movie you saw, you're telling a story. So everybody already is a storyteller to some degree. As far as being professional, I sold how I became a professional. It was just a matter of putting myself out there and seeing if there was a market, seeing if you had a knack for it, and that's what happened to me. I was doing it in churches for a long time, for a year or so, maybe 3-4 years before I started doing it professionally. I did it first in front of small groups, in front of kids, small groups of kids, and then larger groups of kids, and then a couple times I did it before the whole 1,000 members in the church. So I mean, you gotta at least, I think, get out there and do it for a long time to find out whether or not you have a knack for it. If you have a passion for it, the passion, I think, is even more so. I've sat in church all my life, and I remember some sermons. But stories connect with people emotionally, and I remember stories that have about virtues a lot better than I remember any particular lecture or sermon. I don't remember a lot of sermons. I don't remember a lot of lectures. The stories I remember because they stay with you. They connect with you emotionally, and you connect with them emotionally, so you don't forget them. So for people who are wanting to be storytellers, I'd say do a lot of reading. And when you find stories that connect with you and you connect with, you know that, I need to tell this story. I can tell this story because I'm emotionally connected with it. And that gives you that passion that you want to convey to other people and that they sense from you. And you practice, you just do it. You don't get any better at anything unless you do it. The more you do it, generally the better you get. So do a lot of reading, find stories that you connect with, that connect with you, and get yourself out there and doing it for, different venues such as churches, schools. You can offer yourself. I think any school would take anybody who wanted to come in and tell stories to their kindergarten class or their first grade class, and just do it. Yeah, this is Harry. Harry, I'm not a purist as far as storytelling. Some people just like to just do stories without using any props. I have puppets. I use puppets a lot of times because sometimes the puppets are good icebreakers for kids. You're a stranger, especially for the first time, and they're not sure about you, but they connect with the puppets. And so the puppet is started out as just sort of an icebreaker, and also to make it more a friendly environment and atmosphere for the kids. They connect with the puppets, and since you're with the puppet, you're okay with them. And so this is Harry, and with Harry, I made up my own story. Harry didn't come with a story. Storytelling helps engage the imagination, which television precludes them from using too much. They don't have to use their imagination. Storytelling, they have to use their imagination. And it exercises that part of them. So, also, because sometimes I wonder, am I really doing anything? Is it making any difference for anybody? Is it just, I don't know. But I had one lady come up to me one time and she said, I want you to know, you made my daughter's day. And I said, really? She said, yeah. She said, because you picked her to be the mouse. She said, everywhere she goes, she's the littlest one. And she's always kept out of things because she's so little. She's the smallest one. She doesn't get to do this because she's the little one. She said, you picked her today because she was the little one. Today, her size mattered in a positive way. She said, Mommy, he picked me because I'm little. So rather than feeling bad about being little, she felt terrific. And she said, I just want you to know, you made my daughter's day. And that made my day. Yeah.
What do you want? And Harry looked around, didn't look around, but he moved his head and he said, well, Mom, it's me, it's Harry, I want to come in. She said, don't call me Mom, you're not my Harry, you can't come in my house. Harry said, well,